So the United States itself has a grand history of squatters who achieved something and have been enshrined in sports teams and are honored for what they've done. Now, so I decided to do this, but it took me a long time to put it together. It took me from, mostly because of fear, but from 1996 to 2001, I really didn't do anything on this project. And one day I woke up as a very disgruntled, unhappy journalist in my job and said, well, if not now, when? And if not me, who? And I decided to put together the travels. And if I didn't get the grant from the MacArthur Foundation, I was going to max out my credit cards to do it. So that's what I started to do. I didn't really know much about Brazil before I went there, and I was extremely lucky that it's one of these 6 degrees of separation thing. That by emailing and emailing and emailing, I found Professor Sneed, who wasn't a professor then, so I can call him Paul. What I knew about Brazil was the standard things. The girl from Ipanema, Bossa Nova, Caetano Veloso, the country of the future. And always the country of the future, right? Never the country of the present. I also had a mistaken impression of what would be in the favelas. They're certainly poor neighborhoods, the favelas, but I expected, I don't know what I expected, but I expected hovels and shantytown and the worst of the worst of the worst, And when I got to Rio and we walked up into Rocinha, what I found was a neighborhood. You can buy groceries in Rocinha, you can buy furniture in Rocinha, you can buy appliances in Rocinha, household goods, you can work in Rocinha, you can start a business in Rocinha, you can eat out in Rocinha, and you can even call your local squatter pizzeria and get your pizza delivered to your house by a guy on a motorcycle. And so in some ways my story of Rocinha is really normal, about normal people. My best friends in Rocinha, aside from Paul and Jayla, was Zezinho, who sells fruits and vegetables, Washington, a high school student who was a hardcore Iron Maiden freak, Maria, who was a waitress at the main pizzeria, Pizza Lich, and Marcio, a guy who sold coffee and snacks wandering the streets and alleys of the community. So, in that sense, Rocinha is a completely normal neighborhood. It is, however, self-built. And it started out many decades ago with people making small invasions under cover of darkness and building these mud and wood shanties, and it was very much a primitive environment. And over time, more people came, and materials got better, and people built and built and built. And today, there are 150,000 people in Rocinha. Most of the houses are made from reinforced concrete and brick, and some are even built to quite a high style. So that the apartment that I rented, and you do rent, and it's a strange thing that you rent from squatters who don't own. But the apartment I rented, which was 3 rooms, it had tile floors, a kitchen, and full electricity, a full bathroom, and a balcony with a view of the ocean. So, people have a pretty high style existence in Rocinha. So what I'd like to do, first I'd like to talk a little bit about how people built this neighborhood. It's very reminiscent in its form of Renaissance hill towns in Italy. If you've ever been to like San Gimignano or Siena or places like that, you find that you walk down the street and it looks like a dead end, and then there's a little alley that curves off to the right, and you go around that and go around this stone building and you keep going. And that's very much like what Rocinha is. It just, the buildings were built and there are these alleys that run through them called becos, and you go up them and it seems like you're going to come to a dead end, and then lo and behold you turn and go around the cistern and go up further, and there are more buildings. And they're built like townhouses, so they're built one right next to the other. There's not a lot of green space. It's very dense. The way people built it originally was that they formed mutual construction societies, often members of an extended family. And they would join together in these mutirões and help each other build. Nowadays, it's so developed that that isn't what happens. Nowadays, there's a crew of construction laborers who sort of job up at various points within the community, and people who are building a house go down and hire them for the day to do whatever needs to be done. But still, all the materials need to be hiked up the becos. You have to carry rebar on your back. You have to carry 100-pound bags of sand on your back. Everything gets hiked into the community by laborers. Now, being a neighborhood that's improved tremendously, Rocinha has also become a more desirable place to live. And there's another phenomenon that has gone on there. And it's the